It was a week of chaos on Capitol Hill, finally coming to a close as President Biden signed the short-term government spending bill to avoid a shutdown. It followed days of upheaval, of squabbling among lawmakers, even within their own parties. The final funding plan totals just 118 pages. That is a far cry from the more than 1,500-page spending bill that lawmakers rejected earlier in the week. But many questions remain, including over how much influence billionaire Elon Musk will have in government proceedings going forward. For that and more, we are joined by Dr. Lauren Wright, NewsNation political contributor and political scientist at Princeton University. It is always good to see you, Lauren. I appreciate you making the time, and let's jump right in here. I mean, do you expect tonight Trump is disappointed? One of his biggest demands, extending the debt limit, was ultimately not included in the past version of this bill. What does it say about Trump's influence over his fellow Republicans?
He probably knows that was a big ask at the last minute, and he's made those before, and he floats some of these things and sees where they go. And so if anything, it's a useful test, both from a loyalty standpoint and a policy-making standpoint. But he did sort of put that bug in the ear of Democratic and Republican leaders that this is something he's interested in. And I think we'll see that resurrected in the future, Natasha.
After all of the debate, who comes out on top with this spending plan? Who are the winners? Who are the losers from this week?
Well, it's not a pure success, but it is a success for Republicans because things could have just gone so much worse. I mean, it wasn't that long ago in 2019 when Trump oversaw the longest government shutdown we've ever had, 35 days. He was really holding out for the border wall funding. He didn't ultimately get it. Lindsey Graham said, just take a break from this for 3 weeks to debate the immigration issue. And then flight times started getting canceled and people were not getting their paychecks, and all of these dominoes started to fall, and Trump eventually capitulated. And so Republicans know very well how badly this could have gone from a public opinion standpoint. And I think the fact that the bill did pass is a success no matter what's in it, because they would have absolutely been blamed, even though, of course, they're not in the White House yet, which I think is something else that's pretty interesting.
That is interesting. I want to ask you about Elon Musk, who wielded some major influence over these plans this week. We hear Dems at the end of the week taunting him, calling him puppet master, calling him President Musk. Lauren, is this designed to try to get under Trump's skin?
Yes, and I'm not sure it will, because the election wasn't that long ago, and Americans clearly want something different than what they've seen from the Biden administration and from Kamala Harris, and they were very willing to accept Musk's unprecedented involvement on the campaign. They like the fact that he's an outsider. They like the fact that he's not particularly ideological and has only recently allied himself with Republican issues. And so I think Democrats are making quite a bit of this. They have a lot of billionaires on their side of the aisle, too. And in 2020, billionaires voted for Democrats and Biden. And so there's plenty of finger pointing once you make the measuring stick who has more billionaire influence.
Do you think Speaker Johnson's job is clearly in jeopardy? And how did this happen? How did he go from having a bipartisan deal in the works on Wednesday to somehow angering both hardline conservatives and Trump by the end of the week?
That's a great question. I've seen his job in jeopardy before, and he seems to have a way to work with both sides and all of these factions infighting in his own party, and he sort of makes it through. And so despite all of that, he seems to actually have a pretty impressive track record lately of making things work. And so I might have said that in the past, but I don't think it's any more at risk than we've seen in recent months.
This is just a stopgap measure. What can we expect as this deadline nears again in mid-March?
Probably another big fight in March. Republicans have this handshake deal behind the scenes. They want to cut $2.5 trillion in spending over 10 years. That would be really popular. I don't know how they're going to do that exactly. It's really, really tough, especially when you're only looking at discretionary spending.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.